Right, don't know if you know, but I no longer own a Y62 Patrol. Frightening, I know, but there's a pretty good chance I'm going to end up with something like this sometime soon, which makes me start to think about what would I do if I was going to like build a Y62 all over again. What would I do the same and what would I do different? Keeping in mind sometimes it might be just for touring, towing caravan, and I want to do the hard stuff too. So, you know, what I'm about to suggest isn't like right for every single person, but hopefully you can take some things out of it, learn mistakes that I made in my previous build, and don't do what Dave did. I'll somewhat try and put together a bit of an order, because I get asked all the time, what would you do first? Well, for me it's pretty simple. If you own a V8, you do an exhaust. You don't own a V8 not to be able to hear it. So with exhaust there's a heap of different options you can do. There's the economic sort of way of just cutting out that ginormous centre muffler and putting in like a little hot dog or something. It's not bad, probably cost you a couple of $100. May drone a little bit, may be a little bit thong slappy depending, or raspy is probably a better word for it. Personally, I do a lot of kilometres on the road, so I will be getting a catback exhaust system, and it will either be the same as the AVO system that I got through On Track. That was fantastic. I'd be very happy if I did that again. Or I do like George, so OffRoad Tavern. If you look at his Instagram, or he's in some of our movies, he's got the Bow Desert, and it's quiet when you're driving and it's loud when you're on the throttle. So it'd be one of those two, I reckon, for the exhaust. Extractors, you know, they are bigger, they are bulkier. They do generate more heat around the O2 sensors. Like the good brands will have heat-proof tape to insulate all the sensors, but I have seen a few problems with it, and I don't know, I'm probably not going to do extractors, probably. If I wanted loud though, like some of the loudest, most awesome exhausts I've heard, the Pacemaker headers right through, and they are loud. You can quieten them down if you want to, but like the ones that you see Steve Allen do, they sound mint, and every person that drives away from there drives with a big smile on their face. So exhaust is number one. Tyres. So the standard tyres on a Y62 are 32.6 inches. In South Australia you can go up by 2 inches or 50mm, and so the go-to tyre generally is a 295/70/18. I get asked this all the time. Will they fit with a suspension lift? Yes. You may have to tie back the inner guard back here with a cable tie, or even remove the mud flap, but yes, it will fit. You can even fit, so that works out to I think 34.3 inches, so it's within that 2-inch limit. You can go to a 305/70/18, and that's a 34.8 inch tyre. That's basically what this is. This is the Nitto Ridge Grappler. I'm a huge fan of these tyres. I've always run Mickey Thompson. Awesome traction. I'm not sure about longevity. I think they're a bit more vulnerable in the sidewall. But recently put some of these on my Navara. I'm loving them. And they look killer on the Y62s. This is a 20-inch rim. They look amazing. Can you fit 35s on a Y62 without a lift? Yes. However, they may scrub slightly on the chassis on the inside, and they may hit the inner guard a little bit. But you're probably going to do a lift sooner or later anyway, so just do it. Just go get the 35s. They look killer. I'm looking at the protection side of this car. The paint is horrible on all Y62s. Doesn't matter if... I can't believe you get to buy, you know, $85,000 car and the paint's crap. So I'd be wrapping it, or bush barriers, or both. Personally, I really like that Hermosa blue colour because it's different. I reckon that with the clear satin wrap, that self-healing stuff, and similar to what Owen's got on his car, black car, you'd have seen it in some of my other videos. That would look killer, and you can even stencil some things into the wrap so it embosses out, so I can see like a dash maybe embossed into the door, we'll see. But protection is going to be important. Of course, bash plates, the sump hangs reasonably low on these things and it's unprotected, so that will be on there pretty soon. And rock sliders. But as I'm starting to load weight onto this car now, so it's worth me starting to talk about weight. I harp on about weight all the time with these cars, and it's because as amazing as it is, there's not many cars that can tow 3.5 tonne, put 7 or 8 people in it, Go over any sand dune you can find, throw a swag across the back seat, a double swag. Like it's really a one car does everything sort of thing. But there's some Achilles heels to this thing. So on the front axle, the axle limit 1650 kilos. Basically, if you add a bull bar and a winch, you're pretty much going to get to that, and you can only add 85 kilos to the front. So whatever you do with the bar work on this car, keep it as light as possible. Self-plug here, we do the aluminium Predator Evolution bars coming out very soon, and it will be the lightest bar because it's made out of alloy, or the front, but you can still have a winch cradle and that sort of thing on it. The downside with these Series 5s, might come around the front a bit more, is the headlight is so high that the old headlight sat around that height, and the Series 1 to 4s, these sit so high, so you've got to fill this section up with something. It's got to be some sort of metal, so all of the Series 5 bars are going to be heavier than the Series 1 to 4 bars, so just got to keep that in mind, and the radar too. The headlight washer, that's going to be a challenge with some of these manufacturers because it comes out vertically. We'll see what the industry does about to solve that sort of problem. Rear bar is the same. Like, you would only put a rear bar on if you have to, because it's added weight. We'll walk around and have a look. If you're going to have a tyre carrier, if you're going to run 35-inch tyres, you have to run a wheel carrier because it won't fit in the factory location underneath. Whether you have a dual one with the Raslers or the Kmars, we've got a single one coming out as well, which is central mounted. But again, as soon as you add a tyre carrier on, that's 100 kilos just for the tyre carrier, and then it's probably another 50 for each swing arm and the tyre that goes on there too. So you're adding 200 kilos. By the way, the one we're going to do will have a steel centre to hold the arm, but then the outside will be aluminium. The benefit of that is not just weight, it's the lane departure. So inside here there's a sensor that detects, you know, if a car's going to be there when you're changing lanes. It works on magnetics, so if there's a steel bar there, you have to cut a hole in it so the sensor can work through it. If it's an aluminium fascia on the wing, that's not magnetic, so it'll go straight through that and you won't have that ugly hole there. So that's going to be a win when that's going too. Going back to weight again, you're going to have to, once you put all this weight on, you're going to have to change the suspension somewhat. You probably want a 2-inch lift anyway. If you have a heavy back end, you're going to have the 400 kilo springs, and they're stiff, and that means when you go full driving, it can't flex, and you're going to pick up the front end, and you'll see the front end lifting all the time. Look at my old videos with my Y62, Yulia, another heavy car. When you have heavy cars, heavy springs, you lift the front end. In comparison, and I like this car, look at the sister channel to Dash Off-Road, Willing Weber, and he's got just a lower control arm and the 0 to 200 springs in the back, and you watch how the wheel can tuck up into the guard. Nothing's in the back of the car, he's left it as light as possible, and to me that's the kind of full drive I would build suspension wise next time. So just a lower control arm lift, 0 to 200 rear springs if I can get away with it, and then I've still got that amazing flex, well, for an independent car. These flex good for an independent car, that what Matt Weber does as well. So I'd keep the suspension minimal and light. You can, if you are doing the heavy duty thing, you can go with a 4.85 ton GVM upgrade, and that will help you because it's very easy to get to GVM, to your GVM with these cars. And you can also upgrade the springs at the front by depressurizing them. So depressurize the system, take the old coil out, put a old brand EMI one back in or something like that. On Track can do this for you. It's basically the only place in the country that can do it for you. The guys there are great. But you're going to have a stiffer ride. It's not going to feel like a Y62, you know, nice soft suspension. Keep that in mind. Moving to the back of the car. I love these T-oils. That is so cool. On the sequential indicator, I love that too. So in the back of these cars we've got a 60-40 split. There's a little section hidden under here as well. I'm pointing this out for a reason, because most people want to put a dual battery in a Y62, you can put a yellow top or a small 55 amp hour under the bonnet. But remember what I was talking about with weight before, the more weight you can keep off the front end the better, because it doesn't like it. If you're too heavy at the front and you get wheels off the ground, then when they come down you'll smash a HBMC shock. I think we've done one on this trip already, so pretty much every trip someone smashes one just because the car's too heavy and they get a bit boisterous. So you can get this really cool kit. It's an aluminium bracket that will fit 5 20 amp hour batteries, and it hides under the subfloor, so you wouldn't even know it's there. The charger and everything fits under there, so that's where I'm going to be putting my battery in my new Y62. If you're going to have a TI and you want to run a compressor, again you can put this at the back, and that will probably be in this section here. It's all hidden. You can have the outlet come out, you know, wherever you want here. It's out of the way. It's a good room to save space. If you have a TIL, however, there's going to be a Bose subwoofer in there, so you can't use it, so you're going to have to put your compressor somewhere else. Maybe it's, you know, in front of the drawer system or something you do too. If you get a lightweight one, maybe you put it under the bonnet. See how we go. But obviously you've got to put a compressor somewhere. Now, drawers. If you have 2 drawers in the back here, without a doubt you're going to fill them up with crap, and that's heavy. So I purposely am only going to do a single drawer just on the driver's side. I'll lose a seat, of course, but I can still carry 6 if it's a TIL or 7 if it's a TI. The type of drawer, last car I had a Titan drawer. It wasn't that bad, really cost effective, but really heavy, and it did squeak, rattle. I had to tighten it up all the time. Next time round I'm going to look for some sort of a lightweight drawer. I'm thinking probably Drifter. It's made of wood, lightweight wood. It's got the Teflon sliders, so again they don't weigh anything really. I'll put that all on one side, and probably a fridge, a drawer fridge this time, because I'm sick of trying to work out how to tilt slide. The tilt slides are heavy. The drop slides are as heavy as the fridge, so I'm going to avoid doing that altogether, and probably have just one of those Dometic drawer fridges. I know they're only 35 litres, but to be fair, I usually tow a caravan, so I'll use that fridge for my food, and I'll just use the drawer fridge for my drinks and lunch. If I am going to go touring, I'll just put a second fridge in. It's not that big a deal. Then when I don't need it, I can take it out. So I'm keeping my rig light, and have the lightest suspension possible too. You will need airbags. This is whether you're towing or just carrying different loads, you're going to need airbags. There's the Polyairs, which they're the black ones, they go up to about 90 psi. There's the Airbag Man ones with the Kevlar outside. My perfect solution there would probably be the poly airbags, because I can go to 90 psi if I want to, but I'd get the control system from Airbag Man. When you load a car up, a Y62, they can drop like 25 mil just because of the stuff you put into it. This means the tyres go like that, and they'll start scrubbing on the outside edges. So, and it's hard to get a spring to allow for that constantly, because you're changing the weights all the time. So I'll have the management system of the airbags up the front of the car. So when the car's full of fuel and full of gear, I can have the airbags on, say, 15-20 psi. Then when I empty the car at camp, put the spare fridge, you know, out next to my swag or whatever, then I can drop it down to 5 psi, and that will keep it level all the time, and I'll get constant tyre wear. So airbags, definitely up there, one of the earlier things to do with these cars. How cool is the interior with the tan? I haven't really spent a lot of time in the new Y62s with the tan interior. On all the photos, it comes out looking like Donald Trump orange, but when you're sitting in here, it actually is quite a nice colour interior. That's definitely growing on me. We'll see how it looks with the Hermosa blue, maybe. See what happens. It's still a pity that we don't have the better interior like the UAE, as in like the dash and that sort of thing. Apple CarPlay, there's a few on the market that you can put in there. Almost everyone that I've spoken to so far that's got Apple CarPlay has regretted it, because they get an echo through the phone kit, or something doesn't work, or the air conditioning gets stuck on 18 degrees and the screen goes blank and they can't do anything about it. So until I see a better type of Apple CarPlay for the aftermarket cars, I'm just going to leave it as is because I don't need any more headaches. Lastly, if legalities weren't important, I'd probably do, and you can only get this done at On Track again, and it's purely for off-road use, not on-road. You can get a 90mm upper control arm lift. Gives you the 4-inch lift, K-frame spacers at the back, which will give you a 4-inch lift at the back, and then you've got the best height that you can get. You keep the soft, supple springs for the ride quality, and it becomes an off-road weapon. You've got the clearance, you can fit a 37-inch tyre. Yes. Will I do diff gears again? Oh, yes, maybe, probably. If you're going to have the best off-road weapon there is out there, yeah, you're going to put a front locker in at the same time, because the traction control on these is excellent. But if you want to get that 5% of places that no one else can get to, you need a front locker. So I'll probably end up doing that again as well. That was a very worthwhile investment. Best mod I've ever done in a Y62, Travel Buddy. Putting a couple of pies in the Travel Buddy, going out full driving, rock up at lunchtime, smashing into a pie when it's freezing cold. You cannot beat that. So that's what I would do if I was going to build another Y62 Series 5. I'm shopping for one. Anyone at Nissan watching this, help me out, because I'm looking around for a Hermosa Blue, possibly with a tan interior. Depends what the wife says. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you again on YouTube. Yeah.